Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
We are still getting through our Super Bowl hangover. The big game is over. The Masked Singer has come and gone. This is our Season 3 premiere reaction. And you know what it reminds me of? There's nothing I love more than the start of a Masked Singer season where we're all delirious and clueless together, like nothing has been too spoiled as of yet, and we can actually just like dive in and legitimately play the guessing game.
Yeah, which is something that we've said in the past, if you've seen any of our past videos, that drives us a little bit crazy. Is we get that everyone likes to go out there and play Google Sleuth and all that, but the premiere, nobody's done that yet.
Yeah.
This is actual first guesses. Nobody knows who anybody is yet, so I am totally stoked.
And I feel like we have some like predictions that feel like reasonably on the money, and then there are some that are maybe downright terrible as well. I feel really confident with one guess, and that's pretty much it when it comes to these people.
I don't feel good about any of my guesses, but I never do. Except for Seal last year.
Yeah.
That one I knew right away. I heard the voice and I was totally down with that. I just had heard it so many times. But this season so far, my guesses are all out there, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah, it totally is, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing this. And before we get in, if you do like this discussion, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates we're bringing your way. Let's start, though, with the big reveal at the end. They hyped up that this was going to be one of the most famous people they've ever had on The Masked Singer. And I don't think they were kidding. Lil Wayne is like a legitimate, like, A-list music star.
Yeah, it was pretty shocking. I mean, I expected they were going to have somebody really huge for the premiere and that they would be the first one to go because they're not going to be able to keep him around. There's just no way.
Yeah, and I mean, also, I think Lil Wayne, if he had gone out and done, you know, what Lil Wayne is really exceptional at.
Yeah, he would win the show.
Yeah, like, I think he would be there for a very long time, but I think Lil Wayne was just thinking, you know what, it seems like he did this in part for his kids, which is really sweet.
I love that.
And, you know, he just wanted to come in and have fun, and I appreciate his character greatly. I'm very disappointed that I do not get to do my robot impression all season long. I probably would have drove people crazy over time, though.
Oh, man. Matt was so excited when we saw that there was going to be a robot on this season. He has been hyped for the robots. So now that you know who it is, pretty good, right?
It really was worth the hype. I'm so disappointed the robot's gone because the robot was probably the most adorable costume since the original monster.
Oh my goodness, that robot costume, as soon as I saw him come out, he's so adorable. That is the cutest costume. I loved it. Yes, I am sad to see the costume go.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad Lil Wayne had fun. I thought because they had hyped up like all these Super Bowls at the start of the show, I was convinced that it was some sort of NFL star because they were talking about how they don't usually show emotion. That makes sense that it'd be like, okay, this is an athlete who's used to sort of storing that all away. They also kind of used like these boxing metaphors, and so briefly I was thinking, you know, maybe it is a fighter there. Lil Wayne never registered in my mind.
Yeah, when it was brought up that it could be Johnny Knoxville, I was really hoping for that. I love Johnny Knoxville, and then I saw the little skateboard and I was like, oh, now I'm really starting to kind of buy into this idea that this could be him. He's kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. There's not really like a lot going on there, so I thought maybe he's got something brewing, he's got something coming up. This is a great way to sort of launch whatever he's going into right now, whatever he's got going on, but no.
No, it was not Johnny Knoxville, but that was a fun guess. I mean, it was a better guess, really, than... I was having a really hard time, like, nailing any one person down, because I was just sort of thinking, okay, it's probably some sort of, like, NFL player, but they were kind of shorter, so I was thinking maybe it's a running back. I mean, could this be someone, like, a legendary football player, like an Emmitt Smith? Is it someone who's currently... I just kept going the NFL route. That I just, like, spun myself into a corner, and, like, a famous singer like Lil Wayne does not compute. Like, I did not even think that was going to be it.
You got to get them all out.
I got to get them all out now.
You
This
don't
is
get the robot anymore.
Yeah, I know. The robot has, I was about to say exterminate, but that would make me seem like a Dalek from Doctor Who and not the robot. But okay, well, we have other people to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
Let's start with the white tiger, otherwise known as Gronk, who started off the show. This is the only guess I feel legitimately pretty confident about, because the white tiger is really big, for starters.
He's humongous.
Yeah.
When he came out, I couldn't believe how big he was.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. No, yeah, I assumed some sort of an NFL player, and
Yeah.
I don't know any NFL players except for Patrick, who I only learned about tonight
Yeah.
for him winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we became a big fan of Patrick tonight.
Yeah.
Just over the span of a few hours. But Gronk, he's a big guy. He recently retired. He would seemingly have time to do something like this. I'm not positive. I think he works at Fox Sports now, which would mean he's got brand synergy. He meant let's party. Gronk, well-known partier. Gronk is probably somewhere partying right now.
That white tiger costume is incredible.
Yeah, and it's we have to savor every moment we have this costume, because the white tiger's gonna be gone from the Masked Singer fairly soon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he
wasn't great.
No, he wasn't great.
He was fun, though.
Yeah, he was fun. Gronk is fun. I mean, I am not a particularly big Patriots fan, but I think that Gronk would be... It seems like Gronk would do this show. I think that's really the thing for me. I mean, Gronk did a BB takeover on Big Brother that they, canceled midway through because everybody hated it. But, that's... I think... Gronk is who I'm going for, and you're not a big football person, so...
So I'll call it that's Patrick, because he's the only guy I know after watching football today, and yeah.
What a week it would be for Patrick Mahomes. He wins the Super Bowl, and then he's the white tiger on the Masked Singer, all in the span of a few days.
Yeah.
Let's slowly go over now, then, to the Turtle, who... Legitimately, the Turtle's a really good singer. That surprised me.
Yeah, and he sang one of my most favorite songs, A Kiss from a Rose, which last season we had Seal all season. Of course, he wasn't going to sing it, but I was just dying for him to sing it. Didn't happen. We have it this season by the Turtle, who's very good. I was really impressed, because for me, that's a song. If you can't sing it, please don't. So, no, he did a really good job.
You know, we saw the monster come out for Miss Monster's performance. How much would you have loved it if the leopard had come out in the middle of Kiss from a Rose?
Oh, I would have died.
The Turtles clue package was interesting to me, because it felt very athletic based. Like, they showed the turtle on a track, running, talking about how other people were ahead, and eventually he got the gold medal at the end, which kind of signifies, okay, he's a winner, he's somebody who ultimately gets what he wants. So I started kind of going through my head, I was like, okay, who are really famous runners? And then, because I don't know very many runners other than maybe Usain Bolt, I kind of ran out quickly with that, and I don't know if Usain Bolt can sing that good.
I started to go more of the appearance of the turtle, of what the costume is, and sort of that feeling of it, because he kind of was a little bit of a rocker, he had a little bit of leather jacket going on, all that sort of thing. I took the running and the competition as he was part of a competition. There was part of me that was thinking, yeah, he got the gold at the end, and I know that this person didn't, but they did anyways in our hearts, and I thought maybe Adam Lambert. But the other person I was also kind of thinking about was maybe Mark Wahlberg, and that it wasn't Donnie. Donnie's busy doing other stuff on Blue Bloods, but I thought, as when he pulled out that barbecue and started grilling burgers, I immediately thought of the Wahlburgers, and I thought maybe it was Mark.
And I think both of those are actually probably much better guesses than anything I had in my head, because really, Mark Wahlberg is probably too famous to do The Masked Singer, but at the same time, if his sister-in-law is on The Masked Singer.
He may just be doing it at that point to have kind of a laugh with her, right?
Yeah, he might be doing it
kind of like, gotcha.
Yeah, and I mean,
he's got a really good sense of humor.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure because of his musical background, Mark Wahlberg's a pretty good singer. I didn't listen to a lot of New Kids way back when, or anything that Mark was doing at that point in his life, so I can't identify his singing voice, but, I do see similarity.
You went into Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch?
No, it was not. I was not into Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. I'm sorry, Marky Mark fans out there. I am an Adam Lambert fan, and there are some vocal similarities, and I think at least one part of the story makes sense to me, because it seems like the turtle didn't find success right away, and Adam wasn't a teenager when he went on American Idol. He had already been working for a long time. I also kind of thought about, okay, could it be someone who has stage experience, singing experience? I kind of thought about Jonathan Groff briefly, Mindhunter, who knows if that show's coming back, but he's somebody who has a history performing, and, it took him a while to become a big name. That's who I'd probably go with right now, but that is a complete shot in the dark, and I think your guesses are probably better.
Okay, so we'll move into the llama then, which was a really fun costume. I thought that was cool.
I don't know what's going on with the llama. Let's be honest. The llama's got 2 arms and then also 4 legs. The llama is really like an insect, apparently. It's a really weird costume. For some reason, the first part of the llama costume is all done up, and it looks like those back 2 legs, they just went and got it a cheapo costume shop. It is the most bizarre. I feel like whoever designed the llama costume was watching too much of the Rick and Morty Pringles commercial earlier on tonight and was on some other sort of food that's not Pringles.
Well, that whole package was really kind of trippy and strange.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, I don't know what was going on.
No.
This llama's got a camera and crazy Florida shirts and some hat, and he's kissing other llamas, but there was a couple of things in the package that kind of stood out for me, and one of them was the radio thing, which a lot of other people, saw that as well, and the other was sort of that they were talking about him kind of being a bit of a joker and stuff like that. So while some people were saying Howard Stern, I actually was kind of thinking in the same realm, but not Howard. I was thinking about Jackie Martling, and anyone else out there who knows Howard Stern knows Howard came up with Robin and Jackie. And Jackie is still doing his own radio show. He's been on radio for years and years and years. He's known as the Joke Man, Jackie Joke Man Martling. And it all kind of fits in with sort of the sound of that voice. I think maybe.
It is pretty clear. The llama's an older singer. It seemed like, maybe a part of this was that weird rear attachment, but the llama wasn't moving around all that well.
It's probably not that easy.
No.
That costume with that on the back can't be easy to move around.
But it did sound like it was an older voice. Jackie's a pretty good guess. The way... At first, I was kind of thinking a little bit of, okay, could it be Adam Carolla? But I feel like I guess Adam Carolla every season, and that's pretty much my own version of Jamie Foxx.
Well, my next guess is going to be someone who I've guessed every single season, and one of these days, she's going to be on the show.
I'm going to go, though, with I'm going to say Mark Maron is the llama, because he... Very successful podcast. I know it's not the same as radio, but they may not want to give the game away exactly. He is a very popular comedian. I think it just was the way he said, I've done gigs like this. That just sounds, the word gigs, it just sounds like something Mark Maron would say to me. And, he's an LA guy. He doesn't have to go far to do the show. So that I'm leaning that way. But let's get into Miss Monster, since you just set this up perfectly already.
I have been so excited to see Miss Monster on the show. Everybody loves the monster costume. So this was super exciting to see before the show started. We had a little preview of her being on the show. I really don't know who this is, but there's this tiny little bit of her voice, and this happens every season to me. That sounds like Tina Turner. So I'm back on that train again, even though I'm not completely sold on it right now, but there's just certain things that she was singing, and I was like, oh man, I'm going down this hole again.
It sounds, it definitely does sound like Miss Monster has been doing this for a while.
Well, yeah, one of the clues was in the locker, it said monster hits, and that again was, I was like, well, that's also Tina.
Yeah. The one thing I think...
I just don't think Tina would ever do the show.
It's a long flight from Switzerland in order to come out here. And I do think this, though. They talked a lot about trying to change the narrative. With Tina Turner, I mean, I don't know if she needs to turn the narrative, but...
Yes, it's true.
But she also hasn't been in the limelight that much recently, and maybe that's what that means. Like, I could at least buy an explanation of it if it was Tina Turner. Like, to me, her voice sounded a lot like Macy Gray. She sounded like somebody who was kind of... been around the block for a little while in the music industry. I mean, it seemed like, once again, wasn't moving all that well in the costume, but to be fair, that costume's probably the hottest costume on the show.
I can hear a little bit of Macy Gray, but not enough for me to be like, oh, yeah, it is, because her voice is so distinct. It would be like if Bjork showed up here. Like, there's no way to not know that it's them. Like, Macy Gray's voice is so distinct.
Yeah, you're right. It is. And by the way, there is a swan on The Masked Singer Season 3. Bjork is coming to The Masked Singer. I really, for Ken's sake, I think he would just instantly just combust if it was actually Bjork in the swan costume.
Well, that was what was going to happen to me if it turned out that the robot was actually Johnny Knoxville. This would have been a very different video.
Yeah, I don't know if we would have been able to contain anything in this video at all. But the last person we saw tonight, and this is really one of, I think, the biggest mysteries of all, is the Kangaroo. Because there's a lot of clues here. Not all of them line up. Well, like, let's go
for
through
me,
this.
I have zero idea who this is. To me, the Kangaroo is like the tree from last season. I had seen the tree a couple times, and I just couldn't figure out who it was. In the end, it turned out that it was someone I had never heard of. So that was probably part of the problem.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily sure that that's where this is going again, that this is like maybe someone I've never heard of, and that's why I'm having such a hard time placing that voice. But this is one of the few times I don't have a guess.
It's difficult to sort of figure this out because I think it could mean a lot of different things. Like, because she talked about losing somebody, but that may mean that somebody unfortunately passed away, but that might also mean that she lost a relationship.
Yeah, and she was talking about being recently in the headlines for things that she didn't want to be in the headlines for. There was, obviously we have the Kangaroo and then the Outback and, this sort of Australia thing going on, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she's from there.
No.
But it could. I mean, there are a lot of elements to this clue package, so well done, Masked Singer, because one of the things that I was kind of salty about last season is how easy it was for people to take a clue and put it into Google and Google up who it was. Yeah. This clue package had so many different things going on in it that it felt like it was a little harder to thread together, and I'm thankful for that. Yeah.
I'm hoping that's really the case. Like
I hope so.
Yeah, I have two guesses, and one of them I have just come up with in the past 10 seconds while doing this video.
All right, let's have it.
Well, the first one I'll say is Kesha. She's gone through a lot over the past year or two, and, this is an opportunity for her to sort of get back out there and take the power. And, but the thing that sort of kind of makes me a little bit more unsure about Kesha is that they talked a lot about how it was something that whatever happened got them in the limelight, and also it seemed like there was a lot of talk about the family, like that this was a way for her to sort of bring back her family and help to make her family better. And I started going a different way with this because I was thinking, okay, let's not think, lost somebody dear or lost something about her, but rather let's say she lost maybe a relationship, something that was close to her, and then that played out in the tabloids. And then Australia, and I was, okay, maybe they're not Australian, but maybe they've been with somebody Australian who is very famous. And then I started to think famous family, other famous people, maybe they're musicians. This is probably a stretch because I think this person's too famous, but Miley Cyrus. Miley's a good singer, dated Liam Hemsworth. Their breakup is fairly recent at this point. Billy Ray Cyrus, famous father. I don't know, though.
Oh, man, that would be awesome.
It would be awesome. And, I mean, she's really a good singer.
Yeah, and the Kangaroo is a really good singer, too. Oh, man, yeah. I don't know. Too famous, possibly.
Probably.
But she's also this is the thing about this show, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you happen to not be busy at that time,
Yeah.
so many really famous people are just falling in love with the show.
Yeah.
So could I see something like that if she's like, yeah, you know what, I have a break in the schedule and man, I just love this show. I could see that happening.
Yeah, the only thing that gives me kind of a little bit of pause about it is it seems like the story was particularly sad, and a breakup is certainly sad, but
it is.
but at the same time the tabloids, like, I don't remember them slinging too much mud on Miley for it. I mean, I didn't read them that closely, so
No, but it may not be necessarily about the mudslinging, but more about I can't imagine having such a public breakup like that,
Yeah.
where your breakups are already difficult and you're already grieving, and then you already
Yeah.
have to go through telling your friends and telling your family, people who are like, oh man, I really loved him or I really loved her, and then you have to go through that, which is also really awful because then you're just reliving that over and over and over again. But now you've got, tens of millions of people that are reading about it, and then now you've got more people that are coming to you and asking and probing about it. Like, I don't know. It could be that, because that's a lot.
it is a lot, and I don't want anybody to have to go through sad things. I hope that I do hope it is Miley, because I think if it's Miley, she's going to do a lot of really crazy performances, and she'll bring a lot of entertainment value to the show.
But she may not, because if she's trying to not give away who she is,
true.
She can't go on there and, like, do crazy stuff.
Yeah, and
it would be cool, too, because Robin's on the panel, and they know each other from...
Yeah, they do.
From other stuff.
Other things that have gotten headlines over the years.
Yeah, so that would be funny, too. I always love it when they have somebody that's like, oh, man...
Yeah.
We work together, maybe you're my brother-in-law,
or
whatever's going to happen this season.
Well, this was a fun premiere. I really enjoyed getting into it, not knowing anything. And let's hear from you guys, though. Who do you think some of these people are? Give us your own crazy guesses in the comments. And if you did like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking that link in the description to the CARTERMATT store. And we'll see you here next time.